Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. A lot of fireworks last night. Crystal,
Indeed.
What's on the show?
So, who won the debates and who lost them? We have the definitive answers, the only ones you need to know or listen to. All that coming up today on Rising. What are you looking at, Saagar?
Well, I want to say congratulations to Bernie Sanders for winning the Democratic nomination. He may not even actually win the Democratic nomination, but it doesn't matter because he has completely and totally dominated the Democratic Party. Last night, Kamala Harris was completely exposed in her so-called Medicare for All plan, which apparently takes 10 years to implement, maybe keeps private insurance. She fumbled and bumbled her way through her answers on what exactly was in her plan, and just really revealed that if you're trying to be Bernie Sanders light in this campaign, you might as well just drop out, because nobody actually believes that Kamala Harris believes what she's saying. Compare the energy and the force in which she defended her healthcare arguments to Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, leaders on this issue from the very beginning, and you just show how ridiculous it is to see her call her plan Medicare for all. At the same time, George W. Bush and Obama must be friends now, because that is how Obama looked last night. You would not think that he's one of the most popular presidents in American history after leaving office. Everybody on the stage last night was attacking the Obama-Biden record, largely because Joe Biden was running in the race. But that just goes to show even more so how Bernie Sanders has won this discussion of the Democratic nomination. Because ultimately, Bernie was really the original one saying we're not going far enough under the Obama administration. His vision of democratic socialism, his complete and total leftward lurch, and wanting to push the progressive ideology in its totality is something that he criticized President Obama for at the time, and it is exactly what many of the candidates on the stage were saying last night. There are only two coherent ideologies in this race. You have Bernie Sanders and democratic socialism, and you have Joe Biden and a return to 2012 neoliberalism. There really is no other choice in this entire field. You have people who are trying to be Bernie Sanders light. You have people who are trying to be Joe Biden light. But ultimately, why would you pick the light versions when you can have the real thing? And right now, Bernie Sanders has pushed the Overton window and pushed the entire Democratic Party to a point where every single question last night is some version of, do you agree with Bernie Sanders? Why don't you agree with Bernie Sanders? What makes you different than Bernie Sanders? So congratulations to Bernie Sanders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Saagar. If you're Bernie Sanders light, you may as well drop out.
I don't really see the point of a Kamala Care plan or of like.
She apparently doesn't barely
she doesn't really understand the Kamala Care.
She co-sponsored Bernie's bill. So what are you doing?
She's a pandering person. She doesn't believe anything. She's slimy and moves her way through whatever she thinks is like the best poll-tested version. It's exactly like Hillary Clinton when she talked on TPP. And so I look at this thing, and look, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm saying if you're a Democrat, I don't understand why you wouldn't just narrow it down to two people and say, I'm either voting for Bernie or I'm voting for Biden. And that's actually, by the way, how most Democratic voters look at the debate.
Well, and two people who, by the way, have very high favorability among the Democratic electorate. Like, there's this idea, I mean, we talked about how Delaney's theory of the case, right, that people are going to move from Biden to him. No, they're not. If they're looking for a centrist, they got their guy. They're happy with him.
Exactly.
What was interesting, though, on the Biden-Obama thing, even Biden wasn't defending the entirety of the Obama legacy. I mean, he wouldn't defend him on immigration. He stepped away from him on trade, on TPP, which was very noteworthy and I think incredibly insincere.
Yeah, it was total
And Afghanistan,
BS.
Yeah, that's right.
He was like, I'm not going to talk about my internal deliberations on immigration, but I totally oppose the Afghan surge. I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, by the way, I think that's actually true. But I mean, what he said and the way that he was saying it was just so disingenuous and ridiculous. Cory Booker had such a great line where he's like, if you cloak yourself in President Obama, that you also need to be able to talk a little bit about and differentiate yourself from
You don't
him.
get to pick and choose and glom onto the parts that you liked, including the historic nature of his candidacy, which Biden has clearly wrapped himself all up in, but then distance yourself from the parts like being deporter-in-chief that are no longer popular within the party, that frankly weren't popular at the time with a lot of people in the base. So I thought that was the best blow, actually probably landed on Biden, was that moment with Cory Booker, and also Cory Booker pointing out that, okay, You've like come to the light now on criminal justice reform, kind of. But what about the fact that you architected this entire infrastructure that now you're claiming you want to be the person to fix it?
Well, yeah, very insincere.
Critique.
It's a great critique, and ultimately, I think it's just going to come down to these two candidates.
I've been saying that for a while. Next up on Rising, Andrew Yang, candidate known for embracing internet culture and also brand new economic ideas.
One of super PACs that is supporting him is combining those two things by accepting Bitcoin campaign contributions. We're going to tell you a lot more about that next.